With the Florida legislative session coming to an end, I wanted to take an opportunity to update you on what's turned out to be the most successful session for credit unions in quite some time. I'm Jared Ross, Senior Vice President of Association Services with the League, and I'm here to recap several pieces of legislation that were brought before the Florida legislature in 2016. The first bill I'd like to talk about is Senate Bill 1104 by Senator Ana Terry Flores and Representative Charlie Stone. This bill will allow credit unions in the state of Florida to have a registered agent as well as a registered place of business for the service of process of any legal proceedings. This will ensure that legal documents get to the proper person at a credit union and make sure that they can take care of that issue in a timely manner. The second piece of legislation I'd like to talk about is House Bill 1233 by Representative Cindy Stevenson and Senator Rene Garcia. This piece of legislation has long been sought by credit unions to allow them access to a secondary market mortgage program offered by the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta. For years, credit unions have been trying to get into this program, but because the Office of Financial Regulation in Florida would not share examination reports with the Federal Home Loan Bank, they've been unable to. Now, under this legislation, OFR and the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta will be forced to enter into an information sharing agreement, thus opening that program to our state chartered credit unions. A big victory for credit unions in 2016. Another piece of legislation that was a big victory for credit unions is Senate Bill 912, again by Senator Ana Terry Flores and Representative Dana Young. This bill deals with data security at gas pumps. Oftentimes, folks are going to the gas pump, and when they enter their credit card into the machine, there's a skimmer attached, which is stealing your data. Now, owners and operators of fuel pumps are going to have to ensure that those skimmers are not allowed by either putting a piece of pressure-sensitive tape or in some manner protecting that card reader to ensure that your information is not getting stolen at the pump. Again, not just a big win for credit unions, for the state of Florida, but particularly for your members. Now I'd like to talk about some things that we did in a defensive manner. House Bill 1181, which was sponsored by Representative Jamie Grant and Senator Jeff Brandes, dealt with the Patent Troll Prevention Act that we passed during the 2015 legislative session. As originally filed, this legislation would have gutted all the good work that we did last year. Working with stakeholders as well as the representative and senator, we were able to ensure that all the good work that we did last year was kept in place and that credit unions remain protected from patent trolls. On another bill, Senate Bill 1106, which is also sponsored by Senator Flores, an amendment was offered late in the process, which would have required credit unions to do a lot more reporting when their members are traveling or doing business in Cuba. This amendment would have been another undue burden on credit unions, and we ensured that this amendment was not put onto the bill and therefore did not make it through the entire process. The final bill I'd like to touch on is Senate Bill 966, which was sponsored by Senator Lizbeth Benequisto and Representative Bill Hager. This was one of the CFO's priority bills, and included within this bill was a requirement that credit unions who offered credit on their loan products would have had to do annual searches to the Death Master file, thus adding another undue burden onto our financial institutions. Working with the stakeholders on this bill, we were able to get credit life insurance, which is offered by many of our credit unions, exempted out of this requirement, again, saving credit unions from having to do a lot more work than they need to be doing. This is just highlights of what's been a really successful legislative session, and I want to thank all of our credit unions for the hard work they've done and not only guide us on what the issues are that are important to you, but also coming to the Capitol during our state GAC and being involved in the process. As we move forward in the rest of 2016, we've got a lot of exciting things happening. We're going to be extremely involved in the campaigns and elections as we have every House and Senate seat up for re-election in Florida. We have all of our 27 congressional seats up for re-election, and we have an open United States Senate seat. We're going to be looking to our credit unions to help us be actively involved in these campaigns and elections, and we look forward to having an even more credit union-friendly legislature and Congress. Thank you for everything you, our credit unions, do for us.